Hey guys, Sean C. Phillips here, and welcome to part one of the brand new 2012 Q&A series. It's been about a year since I've done one of these, so I figured, a lot of people have been asking me to do one. I haven't really looked through the questions yet. I'm going to do my best to answer them. I'm probably going to do each part like 20 minutes, 25 minutes each, and it'll take, quite a while to go through them all, but I do them like little by little. The first question is favorite movie of 2012. It's really hard to say like what's your favorite, because some of the stuff that I've seen that is like direct to video or things like that end up being some of the best stuff. Stuff that got a really limited release and things like that. So it's like all the time there's something that I see that was interesting. Like horror movie wise, Sinister was very effective. As I just saw, but it's really hard to say what's your favorite movie because I watch so much stuff, so it's just really difficult to just say which one. Do you see yourself hiring an agent at some point? I would at some point. It's all just about the right time. I've been lucky to be able to figure out how to do a lot of stuff myself and, talk to people through networking and a lot of people I know, things like that. But I will at some point definitely do that. It also has to be just somebody too that understands the kind of stuff that I'm interested in, which is mainly horror. And I do want to do some more comedy stuff because I do think that I can do that pretty well, especially with the older things I used to do. And everything I've done pretty much has been comedy horror. I think the next kind of thing that I'd like to do is a horror movie where it's not anything funny about it. Like that's the only kind of thing I'd like to do next, or at some point, something like that. And I've been trying to do, stuff too to show people that I can do a lot of different types of stuff. That's why, like in some of the new things I've done stuff on stunts, like falling off of things and stuff like that, just to show that I can do a lot of different other things. What do you think of Jordan Hamburg, the host of Toy Hunter? He says he's always at Chiller. Ever seen him around any stores, any stories? Thanks, Sean. Yeah, I watched Toy Hunter. I thought that was pretty good. I don't think I've ever seen the guy. I mean, I don't doubt that he's been at Chiller, but I haven't been at Chiller in a long time. A couple of years, so, maybe he started coming later. But I wouldn't have known to notice him, because if he just came around just with that, I wouldn't have known. Do you regret anything in life, like anything in high school, college, you went, or now even? I think, like, the only thing that I regret was that, first of all, I wish that I would have wanted to get into acting at a younger age. I wish I would have wanted to do it as a kid, and I always kind of had that kind of personality. Wish I would have, pursued it then, or wanted, just had the drive and like bother my parents to want to do that. Also wish, I don't know, like with school and stuff. Going to, like, I did a film program that was a serious waste. I didn't really get anything out of it because nothing really was learned. And, I really didn't want to be a director. I really didn't want to do that. I really wanted to perform more. So that was kind of a waste. So I sort of regret doing that. It was something to do at the time, but nothing really was gained by it. Also, when I went and took some classes at a college, that was sort of worthless. Nothing was gained by that. I wish I would have found a way to, like in high school, to have, maybe graduated early, because the last year of high school was like one of the biggest wastes of my life, because I was only had to take, I think, like 2 classes, and then I had to fill the entire day with just like assistancing the teachers and all this stuff. Then I had to assistance the nurse, and I got sick because everyone was coming in there coughing. I mean, that was all like a big waste. I mean, I'm really looking back on things. And I can't say that I regretted a specific friendship, because if I didn't have that friendship, I don't know if I would be where I am now. So, I can't regret anything like that. I guess just school-wise, like just a couple things, maybe I wish I would have tried to get into acting earlier, and, some of those class things. But, you don't know then. So it's really hard to, I don't like to live with regrets, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like to be looking back and saying, I wish I did this, because you don't never know where you would be if you didn't do those things. Could you do a video on modern horror favorite videos? Video on favorite modern horror films? I think I kind of am doing that all the time, though, in updates. I mean, Because, I mean, I'm just talking about what's new. What is your favorite film actor and actress? Why? Um, like, actor... I like a lot of, like, classic people, you know, like Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, a lot of character actors. You know, just and people that I loved watching growing up, like Paul Rubens, Pauly Shore, you know, all those kind of people. John Ritter, so many people like that. Like actresses like Christina Ricci's good. Um, you know, so many just like I said, me, it's always like character actors. Never like Tom Cruise and stuff. Like if I saw Tom Cruise or I saw like here, you could say hello to Tom Cruise or someone like Wallace Shawn. I'd go over to Wallace Shawn. You know what I mean? Like who's a character actor who's in you know, House Arrest and things like that. Like that's how I am. You know what I mean? Like Tom Cruise, I could care less. I go. That's just how I always have been. What was it like working with Charisma Carpenter? I didn't really work with Charisma Carpenter because she only had the one scene in Haunted High, and she did. You know, it was only her and then the one other actress who played like the demon ghost thing. So it was just her doing that. So none of us in the cast really got to. We said hello to her and stuff with her when she was doing the makeup, but we didn't work with her. Your thoughts on Buffalo, New York? Curious, and you ever got into Japanese anime? If not, start with Cowboy Bebop. Never really got into like anime and stuff. Like I don't have any real thoughts on Buffalo, New York though. Ever consider doing a movie about yourself and the host of people who appear in your videos, Wet Movie Dweebo? I think you and Wet Movie should do a film where you travel to many conventions as possible and just let the hilarity ensure. You know, the convention thing would be interesting. The problem with that is conventions are not all at the same time. So it would have to be like one of those sort of things that you make look like it was real, and it was faked a little bit because you know one convention's 1 week, then another one could be like 2 or 3 weeks later. So you're not always going to have a convention. I mean, during the time right now, like October, they have a lot of them. So like it would have to be done around this kind of time of the year, but it would also be difficult to do because they're all a lot of them are on the East Coast and stuff. And, you know, a movie about that kind of stuff, I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, I thought about doing one about middle school and things like that, but I don't really know, you know, what we really do, because the thing is with the video blogs and things like that, we already sort of are doing things about us anyway, you know, what we're doing and stuff. So I don't really know if a whole lot would be gained by that. I don't know if it would be that different than what we're doing right now. Do you have a favorite German movie? Did you ever hear synchronized self from DVDs in other countries? Example, oh yeah, like a dubbed over version, like for example the German Banshee DVD. They had those stupid voices. Yeah, like I've seen the German one where they dubbed me over in Banshee. I've seen the dubbed over one from India where they dubbed over me in Bloody Mary, and the guy that dubbed me over actually like sort of sounded like me. His voice kind of gets high, because like that's one thing people say about me, like that high voice thing, like I'm doing that on purpose and stuff. I kind of just do that. That's sort of just my voice. It's not put on. I don't know if I have a favorite German movie. Probably Autopsies, I think, is a German movie. I'd like to know if you could meet any actor, director, dead or alive, and ask them a question. Who would it be, and what would you ask? Think you're awesome. Keep up the great work. Like any actor, I mean, the people that I would have loved to have met, I don't know about question-wise. I've talked about this a couple times before. I would love to have met John Candy. I would love to have met Chris Farley. I would love to have met Jim Varney. Some of those people like that I just like would love to have. Sean, are you getting recognized more as you go out? And did you like the TV show Lost? Never watched Lost. Recognized at conventions. Sometimes when I'm with Brendan, though, you know, Wet Movie 1, at weird places I've been recognized. I'm recognized like a train station, restaurants, places like that every so often. But the main thing is conventions. Like Kamikaze, every like 5 or 10 minutes there was somebody. At like horror conventions, it's like constant, which is cool. Like I really like to meet people that watch my videos and like the stuff that I do. But those are the main places. You know, I've thought about like, you know, getting a booth or something, but the one time that I did that, or, you know, get a table, that no one that knew who I was there. You know what I mean? But I'm sure that wouldn't be the case, but I always think about doing that because I see so many people who do indie horror movies and stuff like that, you know, signing at some of these conventions. I'm like, I should be doing this. But then I'm like, I just don't know. And I really, you know, some of them make you charge, and I would never charge for taking a picture with somebody. I can never do that. You know, the only thing I think you could charge for is the autograph, just for whatever it costs to get the picture made and all that stuff. Do you have a P.O. box? If so, could you make a video of you opening stuff you send again? No, I got rid of the P.O. box. It was mainly because of a certain YouTuber that was sort of like stalkerish, and you know, I don't speak to him anymore, but he was like nuts, and you know, sending messages to other people saying he was dead and stuff, and just kind of weirded me out, the whole thing. So I'm kind of like, I'm just going to get rid of this. First question, why are you so awesome? Then I was wondering, I've never actually seen any 80s horror movies, and I'm ashamed because I'm 23. But I saw your favorite 80s horror movie and your favorite gore movies, but it was hard to defer, like, which ones were good. I really want to have a night where I just watch all the best 80s gory movies. Not so much zombie movies, just like a monster ones. Like original ones. Thank you. No, I mean, the thing is, like, if you're only watching, like, current horror movies, I don't think you haven't seen horror movies. Like, that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I mean, there's every so often some good ones. But, you know, every horror movie that I see all the time, you know, is always taking something from one of the 80s movies. So, if you haven't, I mean, go DVD shopping quick and you know, see horror movies for the first time. Because, like, I mean, you know, like I said, there are some good ones, but so many of them borrow from things in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even the original monster movies. Sorry if this question is stupid, but I'm new to the awesome channel. Do you collect old video games? No, I don't really have them. Like, when I moved, I kind of had to put them all away because I didn't really have the space to do them, so I don't really... you know, I've gone through times, though, when I've had a lot of old video games, but I just... Something about me, like the personality I have, I don't like to get invested in video games, especially the new ones. I don't dislike them, but I kind of have like an obsessive personality, and I kind of get obsessed with something, and I can't stop playing it. And then, but I have so many movies I want to watch and things to review that I just don't have the time to do it. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I do that, then I can't get to watching anything. Hey Sean, long-time viewer. If there's one horror franchise you would love to act in, which would it be and why? Probably, like if they, you know, the Friday the 13th remake, if they do a second one, I would love to be like, if they actually did one in a camp, you know, with the camp counselors and stuff, I would love to do that. I would love to, like, be in one of those as, like, the camp counselor. Like, if they did a Burning remake, I'd love to be one of the counselors. Those kind of things, that I see possible. You know what I mean? You know, one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets would be kind of cool. And I don't go into wanting, like, to be the lead or something. I'd like to be just someone that, like, dies or something. What is the best and worst movie you've ever seen this year? I don't know. Like I said, those are really tough. Medea's Witness Protection was probably one of the worst, though. Will you ever bring back the character Don back with Dweebo? I don't know. I keep thinking about that. It's just really tough to figure out how to do it. You know, I probably will. It's just sort of like a lot of sour grapes with that whole thing. Just because it's just like, I don't know. I kind of feel like I moved away from it. So I don't even know. And I don't know if people who have not ever seen it before would think that I lost my mind or something doing it. What else is the other question? Who has possession of Murph's blonde wig? No, I kept the blonde wig because, you know, the Unmentionable one was like, I'm done with this. So I just said, I'll take it. I think I have the blonde wig, and I think I have the shirt, too. Can you stop dying in movies? No, like if I don't die in a horror movie, I'm kind of upset. Like, I don't want to live. I don't want to live in the horror movie. I like to die in it, and truthfully, I like the most violent. And you know, I don't always get that, but I like the craziest, you know, screaming, bloody deaths. I love that kind of stuff. What's the biggest movie you almost got Is there any movies you were in talks with and heard rumors from your agent you wouldn't ever get? Like I said, I don't have an agent. I'm just doing it myself. There's been a couple of ones where things have changed and stuff. And I was supposed to do one thing, and then circumstances changed, and I didn't. But for the most part, I've been pretty lucky with the things that I've talked to people about, or the things that I've filmed video auditions for and things like that. I've been pretty lucky to get them for the most part. How much on the Out and About Vegas movie did you want to strangle Gabe? No, like, the whole thing with that Out and About Vegas movie with Gabe was, I was away. I was trying to just have a fun time. I had always wanted to go to Vegas. And, we were out till 4 or 5 in the morning, and we go in the room. Brendan can't sleep. And, we lay down, and it's maybe 30 minutes later. Brendan goes downstairs to get a donut. And this is after 30 minutes of trying to sleep. Then Gabe gets up and gets in the shower and says, "Good morning." And we didn't even sleep. And it just was annoying me. And then he kept trying to wake us up. So I don't like that kind of stuff. Like, I don't like when I can't sleep, when I'm trying. Like I said, I really wanted to do it, and I wanted to have a good time there. It was like kind of pissing me off. I won't lie. Why are you against challenge videos, like Brennan's challenge videos? I don't like that kind of stuff. What's your dream part in a movie? I don't know. I mean, like I said, probably like be cool to be in like one of the big mainstream horror movies, but luckily, my luck, I would end up doing it, be the one that like only went to a few theaters. But like, I don't know, that kind of stuff. But like I said, I've really enjoyed the stuff that I've gotten to do. How are you? This is Martin R. Cruz. What are some of your favorite restaurants, no matter what kind and why? I guess like some of the places that I go to restaurant-wise are like Macaroni Grill, Outback, like a lot of the chain restaurants. Because I've had a lot of food poisoning incidents and things like that in the non-chain ones. I'm pretty serious about that. Just the simple places like what was the place? El Torito I like, which is a Mexican place. I really like Mexican food, especially when it's done well, not thrown together, that kind of stuff. Did you know there's going to be a video game amusement park? I have heard that. Do you know the name of the slasher movie about an 80s and 90s about some people who have a Halloween party in a school or castle, and one of the guests is a demon or serial killer and kills some of the other guests, and the names show up in a yearbook or something? The killer torments 2 main guests with a game, and they had to win to survive. He kills one guest with a guillotine. I don't know. Maybe somebody knows what that is. It sounds like, like Night of the Demons mixed with like Castle Freak and like a bunch of different things, but I don't think that's what it is. Hey Sean, what's your favorite Blu-rays? Plus, your channel is cool. Been watching through 2010. Favorite Blu-rays? I don't know if I have like a favorite one. I always just kind of like when, it's like a movie where there's never really been too much about it, and then all of a sudden they finally put out, like a director's cut or something really different, or some deleted scenes. Like, I wish because I know they're putting out Bill and Ted, I wish they would finally get it together and put it out and get the deleted scenes, because they've always talked about those deleted scenes, things like that. Like, I don't know, like those kind of things would become favorites if they would do that kind of stuff for movies that I've always wanted to see them, but then they never did. What movie do you hope gets a digital re-release someday? I myself love Michael Mann's The Keep and hope it sees a release. It also is a cool, obscure film not many people know about. Andrew Sean, sorry to go on and on, but I hope you can point me towards some cool, obscure titles to hunt down and watch. I don't know, for like digital, like, I don't know if you mean for like the movies. Like, I don't really go and see things like when they're playing again. I don't know. I know like they had like Indiana Jones, the Ghostbusters and stuff. I don't know, there's some of them that I'd be interested in seeing, like kind of like some weird midnight ones, but like Blu-rays and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that still hasn't even come out to DVD, but a lot of it's been coming out through those on-demand, burn-demand things. And at least I will say with them, they're putting them in widescreen. They're actually, You know, not just taking the VHS and stuff. They're basically just putting what they would if they put a actual release version. A lot of long questions. What are your opinions on the most underrated and unknown movies in the genre and DVD collections by gems? I mean, films that have generally been forgotten about and or out of print and impossible to find. The sort of movies that people don't know about unless they're well reading regarding obscure and rare films. I'm particularly in horror and sci-fi, so I'm interested to hear great movies you always tell people about, generally don't know exist. Well, I did a video, I think, on rare, obscure ones that I have. But the thing is, there's a lot more. But like, well, that's one thing with the DVD updates that I do and the video updates and things like that. A lot of people say, you didn't show this, you didn't show that. I only show what I have. So, like, if I don't have something, that's why it doesn't get shown. It doesn't mean that I don't like it. It just means I probably don't have it. And with, like, the amount of stuff that I buy, I can't always go back and buy older stuff. I kind of have to, like, mix it up. Any movies on DVD... Any of the movies on DVD through places like Amazon? I'm not sure if that was a question to something else. You have a great channel. What was the best twist ending you've seen in a film? Twist. I don't know, because I wouldn't want to ruin it. But I'm sure there's some good... So I always get caught off guard with some of these questions because I never can remember. Will there be a remake of Bad Ronald? I've heard that before, but I don't know. I spoke to Gary Coleman, and yes, there will be a new Video Violence, but not Video Violence 3, instead Video Violence the musical. What do you think? Well, I don't know. Hopefully, maybe Gary Coleman asked me to get killed in it. I don't know. That would be, you know, tell Gary Coleman that. I'd love to die in Video Violence. No, I think I have talked to him in the past, though. Sean, my name is Steven. I'm starting my first feature with, when completed, could I send you a copy for review? Also, I'm a huge fan in shot on video horror. Can you give me a list of all the shot on video horror films that you either own in your collection or are familiar with? Or I mean, like shot on video, like Video Violence, you know, Woodshire Massacre, Cannibal Campout. Those are the main ones that come to mind. If you could go back to the days of the 80s, what movie would you have wanted to act in and why? Probably like, I mean, looking at 80s teen comedies, I think I could have probably been in the Last American Virgin is The Fat Friend. I do look at that. I think I could have probably been in Revenge of the Nerds. That's one I would if they did a remake, and I know they tried to do one. I would love to be in the Revenge of the Nerds remake if they actually did that. Other 80s ones, I don't know who I would have been in like something like Bill and Ted. You know, I'd like to have been in it, but I don't know who I would have been. So that's a tough thing, is you'd have to actually be somebody that you could have been. Like if they did a remake of, you know, National Lampoon's Vacation, I would love to do the John Candy part, because I love that part in that. So that's kind of, I have to kind of think about, that would take a long time to really think about who I could have been at that time. Who is your favorite foreign filmmaker? Hey Sean, do you think it was mean when Michael Newman said, "I kicked your father's ass in school, now I'm going to kick yours"? At the teens from the movie Click? That's a funny thing to ask. I guess, yeah, I think so. I will say though, you know, on the subject of Click, Henry Winkler was in that. Henry Winkler was very good in Here Comes the Boom. I was very happy that he had such a big part. And it was actually better than I thought it was. But foreign, probably the directors of City Lost Children. And I like the Gene Roland films and things like that. What was the worst movie you ever seen in your life? I usually say The Family Man, just because I hate the ending. What movies do you hate that you have in your collection? I think I pretty much, most of the ones that I really hate, I pretty much just got rid of. Them. Because I give them like the trade and save and things like that. You think about the unmentionable one. In circumstances like when, like if something we did together comes out, like a certain movie or things like that, and I do sometimes wonder what he's doing and what's going on, but I don't let it consume anything because I'm doing my own thing. I don't think he ever really enjoyed doing the film stuff. I think he did in the beginning, but I really don't think he did near the end. Because after we did the last thing we ever did together, Marry Horror, I said to him, do you mind, I said to him, do you want to do this anymore? And he looked at me and said, no, I don't care. And so I kind of like took that as, okay, I'm not worrying about it anymore. And I don't have to worry myself. Are you still good friends with Joe Franz and Brendan Novak? I can't lie, I have not seen Joe Franz in almost 2.5 years. I haven't spoken to him in 2.5 years, so I have no idea. I mean, I like Joe Franz, but, we just have not seen each other. Especially since I moved and stuff. Hey, Sean, do you spend pretty much all your paychecks on movies? Can you do another video showing your whole collection? Sort of. Not exactly. Do a whole video? Probably at some point. It's not too different. I mean, the horror section has grown a lot. But I might do another one sooner or later. I guess that's all for this part because it's 26 minutes. I don't want this to be too long. But the next part will probably be up in like a week or two. Probably going to be doing the DVD update soon. Like I said, I'm going to try and really space these things out. So anyway, though, thanks a lot for watching and for subscribing. See you guys later. Bye.